Welcome and thank you for taking the time to have a little watch of this video. I'm hoping you'll understand the report a little better if you're able to watch this. What we're looking at here will be the normal front page of the report. Of course, for a year 11 it would say year 11, and it has the time of the year that we've made the report, the student's name and a tutor group they're in, and it's usually got some text there from Mrs. Phelan about what's happening in school, important events that are coming up. That's just the front page. On the back of the report we will have a description of what levels are being used, and for year 11 it's largely the GCSE gradings A star to G, except in our Cambridge Nationals where we have pass, merit, distinction with either a level 1 or level 2. And in ICT ECDL, that's the European Computer Driving Licence course, lots of them do, it's pass, merit and distinction. And below that we will also have the attitude to learning descriptors. So that is engagement, behaviour, and further on below there will be homework, and whether we're finding the student is outstanding, good, inconsistent and poor. And rather than read off the screen, it's probably better you get the last report out and actually read it on paper, where it'll be much clearer to see. The bit I really want to explain is the main section of the report, which is on the inside of the report here. We always list our subjects on the left hand side, and we have the teacher for that student on this side down here. Okay, so the attitude to learning descriptors sit in the middle part of the report here. We've just discussed those briefly. You can go back and look at what those are. We have focus for improvement, and this is where a teacher believes there needs to be some improvement made, or what could be done by the student to get even better. This part of the report is about the level at which the students are working or should be working. We have two key grades here we need to understand and think about. The first of those is a national forecast grade. We are able to have data nationally from a charity that's called the Fisher Family Trust, or FFT, and they are given every single student's data at the end of Key Stage 2. So when students took those SAT tests at Key Stage 2 at the end of primary school, that information is forwarded to the DFE, and they give that information to the Fisher Family Trust, who analyse that data, and from that data they are able to come up with the national expectation for individual students. So for the student we're looking at the moment, nationally we would expect to get a C in these subjects, a D in German and a pass in ICT. Now it's quite complicated how they work that out, but it's based on how well the student performed at Key Stage 2. Obviously students that perform better at Key Stage 2 will have a higher expectation at GCSE. People that didn't perform so well will have a lower expectation. It's also based on the age the student was when they took their tests at the end of Key Stage 2. So a student that's young in the year will have a slightly different prediction than the student that's older in the year, even if they scored exactly the same on that test, and that's because they've had a little bit more time in education. The other factor that's considered is the gender of the students. Are they male or female? Because different girls will make different progress than boys, and also the number of schools that student has been at. The national forecast grade therefore is based on national data for all students, and we look at our individual students and see how would they fit within that data. We are also able, as well as looking at the student, to look at historically how our school has performed and how departments have performed in that school. From that we are able to maybe set slightly different targets according to how well we want to do. So the national forecast grade for most subjects at year 11 will be for our school performing in the top 20% of schools. Okay, let's look at this individually. We've got here English, the student is forecast to get a grade C. We are projecting that at the end of year 11 they will get a C. So it's Mr. Duffy here, and he's saying engagement's good, behaviour is good, homework is good. Actually, I think the student is going to be getting a C at the end of the course at Year 11. So that's where we'd like to be. The national forecast grade is matching with our projected outcome. It's what the teacher believes the student will get when they finish the course. It happens to be me here, Mr. Haynes here for maths, and I'm saying, well, they're forecast to get a C. I think they're going to get a C. If we look at history with Mr. Jones, however, Mr. Jones is saying they're forecast to C, but I think they're going to get a B. So that's very good. They are bucking that national trend and doing better than we might expect the student to be doing. Likewise, in ICT, we have that same approach there. Ideally, we always want the projected GCSE outcome to either match or outperform the national forecast, because that would say that a student is doing better than we would expect. Okay, I hope that's been useful to you. If you do have any further queries, do contact the school and I can explain that to you individually. Thank you very much for listening.